Now I would like to request our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, to come on, come here and share his thoughts and advise us. Professor Dr. Muhammad Fazle Ilahi. Thank you.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Honorable Pro-Vice Chancellor, Dr. Mahbubur Rahman, Chair of this session, Professor Lal Mohan Baral, and our guests, Mr. Anurul Alam Chaudhary, Mr. Syed Farid Ahmed, Mr. Rafi Mahmood, faculty members, and the head of offices, our dear alumni and the students, Assalamu alaikum. I'm very much excited to see the attendance here. I had been here last evening while distributing the prizes of the winners of one competition arranged by the AUST Programming and Informatics Club. I was also very much encouraged to see the attendance. So it seems that the participation of the students and others outside the classroom is increasing. That is a good trend. But the classrooms are also important, especially for the students. And it seems to me that the chairs are sometimes becoming vacant, sometimes occupied. Possibly some of them are going to attend the classes and coming back after the end of the classes. That is acceptable. Of course, as a teacher, I would like that they also give due importance to the classes where they learn the basic things. But that learning does not end there. As we have heard from our keynote speakers, as well as the guest speakers, that the technology is changing fast. And you do not have the time to think whether you will implement that or not. I may explain something why it is important. Because I had some experience while I was studying for my PhD in England, in Bradford, a very important old town of Yorkshire. And Bradford was a city for textiles. And their products were used around the world. The people nowadays, they don't know about the textile industry of Bradford, because when I was there, the industry was waning. The industry was old. New technologies came up in the textile sector as well as other sectors. I had similar experience about the Flint Street in London. The Flint Street is famous for the newspaper printers. The technology of printing was also changing at that time. The Americans came to the Flint Street and started to buy up some of the printing industry, the companies. The local employees, they revolted. They said the government should not allow the sale of this industry to the foreigners, to the Americans. What was the reason? They thought that they will lose their jobs because of the introduction of the automation. What happened at the last? Although the government at that time, led by Prime Minister Thatcher, branded as the Iron Lady, refused to take the decisions taken by the labor unions. What happened? The industry started to close one after another because they lost the competition. So naturally, when the industry is closed down, the layoffs will be there, so they lost the jobs. So the best alternative was to accept the new technology and retrain yourself. So there is a tendency of the human beings not to retrain themselves. So you have to change your attitude. As we have heard from our previous speakers, they were emphasizing on that you have to take up the new technology. As you have seen in the first video presentation, the first industrial revolution spanned over a century. What about the third industrial revolution? The lifespan was less. What about the fourth industrial revolution? Maybe the fifth industrial revolution has just started to take over. So where do you stand? You have to think about what is going to happen in the future if you want to exist. The survival of the fittest, that is a proverb which we all know. But what is the criteria to become the fittest? That is changing. If you talk about the different sectors, the speed of changing is also different. In the aviation industry, we can travel to a far distance in a shorter period of time, shorter than the time required few decades back. And you know, the Wright brothers, they discovered the aircraft. They were successful, but the technology had changed a lot over the time. Now we have got fuel efficient aircraft, but still it is fast. And you compare the speed of the improvement in the computer sector. The cost has gone down a lot, but the speed has become faster and faster. If that same trend of changes had taken place in the aviation industry, then all of you could have owned one aircraft that could go around the world several times in 24 hours. So you can imagine the changes in the technology is also taking place in the textile sector. As one of our speakers, our Vice Chancellor mentioned that we are in a good position, that we have got the different departments like computer engineering, computer science and engineering, the textile engineering, the mechanical and production engineering, the electrical engineering. Yes, we have got a good age, but that must be utilized. Because nowadays, the third generation universities, the concept which is being floated, we must have interdisciplinary research. The subjects should take care of what is going to happen in the future. You have got the artificial intelligence, the robotics, and so on, that encompasses the knowledge of different engineerings. Even if you talk about the business technology management is another sector where you should know how to deal with the business people, how to deal with the agreements, and how to sell your technology. So the departments, the names of the departments are supposed to change, and that have changed in the UK also. When I was studying in the early 1970s there, and when I went there later on, after 30 years or 40 years for different meetings, I did not find the same department with the same name. The names of the departments have changed. But we are not doing with that type of thinking. We are not thinking in such a way in this country. So we are lagging behind. So I would like to tell all the people who are here, alumni or the students, that we have to retrain ourselves all the time. I was talking once with one American technician who was working for the installation of one machinery in IoT. I was in charge of that laboratory. I was very curious about his background. I asked him, which subject did you learn in your university? Then he laughed, and he told me that if I had been with that subject, I would have lost my job. So I had to retrain myself. I learned many new things. So the alumni who are here, they can help our senior students to teach them. There must be many get-together. And this get-together today, arranged by the AUST Textile Association, is a very good arrangement because that makes the possibility of exchanging views between the alumni and our senior students. And our guest speaker mentioned about 6 months to 1 year training in the industry. That is a very good suggestion, but a bit difficult for implementation. Because I was arranging the industrial placement for the students while I was in the BUET. That was a long time back. Many of the industry was public, and they accepted the students for 6 weeks. But the number was less. And the level of the technology was not high because that was all mostly old. But still we had some difficulty because it took a long time for the decision. And we had a specific period of time when the students can be sent to the industry because after a certain time they'll have to start the new year. They had to do that training at the end of the 3rd year and they have to come back before the start of the 4th year. In UK also, there were some courses which was called the sandwich degrees. They used to send the students to the industry for a long period of time. And that happened in the Germany also. But in Bangladesh, nowadays, we have got many private industry. I'm very glad that our guest, Mr. Syed Farid, has offered to accept about 6 to 10 students. I am very grateful to him. But the problem with some owners is that they are not ready to accept because they feel that their productivity will be affected and they will have to engage some of their officers to look after the students, to teach after the students. But I was talking with the head of the department to look into this matter. If possible, after arrangements with the industry who are eager to do that, we'll be very happy to arrange that training program. Let us try that. So there is a very important aspect, the collaboration between the industry and the university. That is also one aspect that has been taken care of by the new system of OBE accreditation. They have given a lot of emphasis on the industry-university cooperation. We have to move in that direction, and the cooperation between the people who are present here, our faculty members, our alumni, is very important. By arranging this type of functions and programs or get-togethers, I hope we will be moving faster to a better place together. So thank you very much for inviting me and to join you. A nice gathering. Hope you'll enjoy it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much to our Honorable VC sir.